Guys, I want to do a video using my real voice, but there's an annoying kid outside crying. This is why I don't do live videos and you don't hear my original voice, because it's so noisy and loud in Nigeria. But I'm going to film this video before I lose my motivation, even with the annoying kid outside crying. I want to address the issue, the situation that's happening with Tamar and Chrisean Rock. This thing is getting out of hand. It's getting so serious. You must know that I am taking it really serious, the fact that I'm using my original voice, because I hate talking. That's why I use AI for my videos. But I want you guys to hear what I have to say first. All right, first of all, Tamar is a very talented musician, singer, maybe even songwriter who grew up in the industry. She started working in the industry at a very young age when she was singing backup for her sister, Toni Braxton. Everyone knows Toni Braxton catalog. So Tamar comes from a family of talented people, talented women. I stress on the woman because I feel like that's the reason why Tamar even gave Chrisean a chance, because she felt for her as a woman. She wanted to help her and uplift her. It was very misguided of Tamar, because sometimes you can't be Captain Save-A-Hole, because now she's in this situation. Everyone is feeling sorry for Chrisean because she's, under the influence of drugs and alcohol. And usually when people are under those influence, people feel bad, which is fine, for you to feel bad and want someone to get help. But what you have to understand is when people are under the influence of drugs and alcohol, they don't care about your feelings. They will hurt you and they won't care about your feelings. So even though you're feeling sorry for them, they're not feeling sorry for you. Now let's talk about who Chrisean Rock is. I don't know who the hell Chrisean Rock is. I don't know where she came from. All of a sudden, she was on the news. Everyone was talking about her. She was on TV. She did a reality show. If we dig a little bit back, some background on her, she has a sports background. I guess she did track. She did other types of sports. She was on a reality show, which was kind of like Gladiator, which was, I think, her specialty. If she had stuck to that area of sports, maybe competing in sports tournaments, she would have been very successful and probably even happy and wouldn't have gone down this, route that she's going, this very destructive route that she's going through. So recently, Tamar is doing a tour and she's going to different states and inviting guests. So she decided to invite Chrisean Rock to her tour. She's saying that she didn't do it for clout. She did it as a way to support. But we have to look a little bit on both sides. I feel like in some ways she did it because she did want to support Chrisean, because they're both Baltimore girls, and Chrisean did reach out to her initially because Chrisean is a user. That's why Chrisean is a user. She likes to use people. So if anything, when Chrisean reached out for Tamar, she wanted the clout as well. So I feel like Tamar felt like, okay, everybody's talking about Chrisean. I'm doing this tour. I'm doing it all on my own. I'm going out of pocket. Maybe if I have Chrisean in the show, it'll bring me some positive publicity, because people, for whatever reason, they rock with Chrisean Rock. They like her. No matter what she does, people are always talking about her. She's constantly in the shade room for whatever reason, no matter how obnoxious she's being, how violent she's being, how many criminal actions she's taking, illegal things she's doing. She's always in the shade room in all these blogs. So I feel like, yes, definitely Tamar wanted to give her some shine, wanted to support her, but also she knew that Chrisean being on her show would bring some publicity. I don't know where the mix-up happened, because Chrisean is always under the influence and she's a little bit slow, maybe a lot slow. So I don't know if, Tamar told her, yes, you can come up on stage, and Chrisean thought that meant that it was for her to perform, or whatever the reason. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. The fact is that the show has a schedule that you're supposed to follow. Chrisean cannot just be walking in and out, doing whatever she wants. It's not her show. When you go to someone's show, you have to be respectful of their time. You have to be respectful of the structure of the whatever the show is, the event is. When Chrisean went to do whatever she did and she lost her opportunity to go out on stage, which I'm not even understanding, because videos that I'm seeing Chrisean on stage holding Tamar's hand, acting like a damn fool. So she did get her shine. So what I don't understand is if this was before or after she physically assaulted Tamar's friend. So what we're hearing is along the lines of Chrisean being at Tamar's event, she got upset and assaulted Tamar's friend. I don't know where the security people were. I don't know why people even let her get as close to hit this guy, even once or more than once. There should have been people there to hold her back. And this is what I have to say with Tamar. Tamar loves hanging around gay men. And that's not a problem. The problem is if you're going to hang around gay men, make sure that those gay men can protect you and protect themselves. Because I can promise you the reason why Chrisean was able to do all of that was because none of those guys in that room, they felt comfortable enough to put their hands on Chrisean to defend James, Wright, Chanel, or defend their own self. So my advice to Tamar in the future is, I don't care how many gay men you want to hang around. Make sure you have at least one of those gay men able to defend himself and defend you if something happens. This is a good time for you to have that ex-boyfriend JR in your corner, because he was an ex-Marine and he's also a lawyer. But you messed up that relationship, and we're not going to even talk about that because that's not what this is about. So my advice to Tamar is, you've already apologized to the girl, which I personally, I did a video and I said that you owe, people apology, and you were very mature enough to apologize to, everyone involved. I don't think you should have been apologizing to Chrisean as much as you were apologizing. You apologized to her at least 3 to 4 times in that video, when the person that you should have been focused on was James, your friend. He's the one that deserved that apology more than Chrisean. 1 time was enough, Tamar. You did not have to apologize to Chrisean and cater to her for most of the entire video. That's another thing, because you doing that video gave her a bigger head than she already has, because she's very arrogant. She's been getting all this clout and publicity for bad behavior, for being a violent person, not for anything else, not any skill set, any success other than like her music. She's not getting clout for her music. She's not getting clout for the fact that she's good at, sports, but she's getting clout for being a violent person that likes to fight. So she's using that momentum to stay in the limelight, to stay in the public. And when people enable her by giving her more publicity, free publicity, she's going to continue doing that, because she's in her head, she's thinking, oh, people like when I'm violent, so I'm going to continue being violent so people can continue to like me. So that was a mistake. First of all, we're not going to go about, talking about how it was a mistake for Tamar to invite her, because we already know that's already the case. Now, what is the next step? Now that Tamar has invited her, now that Tamar is a target for her to have a smear campaign again, to target that, I feel like if she was to see Tamar, she will physically fight Tamar. My advice to Tamar is to get security, to make sure for the rest of your shows, put a little money into getting security. You have a sister who's very famous, who's dating Birdman Birdman has connection. You need to utilize the connections that your sister has to get the proper security around you at all time, because this Chrisean person is a very dangerous person and people are not understanding that. And until she hurts someone besides James, because James he's in the hospital and he needs to fix his teeth. That was the bare minimum she did to him. Until she hurt someone even more than James, people are going to understand how dangerous this Chrisean person is. So my advice to Tamar is to get a security team around her while she's doing this tour, to cut all ties with Chrisean. At this point, until Chrisean is sane in her head, until she gets sober, until she goes to rehab, until she stops doing drugs and drinking, my advice for Tamar and people like Tamar who are celebrities and they want to help this girl, to not even bother. Sometimes it's better to just mind your business. Let her figure it out for herself, because her problem is not the lack of help. Her problem is not knowing how to utilize that help that she's getting. This video is getting too long. I didn't want it to be this long, so I'm going to just cut it off right now. My advice is Tamar needs to get security around her, because I do not want to hear about Chrisean putting her hands on Tamar. I'm in Nigeria. I'm acting like I'm going to be Tamar's bodyguard and fight Chrisean for her. Chrisean just need one good hit in her neck and she'll calm her ass down. Because at this point, if she's violent, she needs to meet the right one. That right one will shut her up. It can't be Blueface, because he's scared of her to the point where he's staying with her because he's scared of losing his life, because she threatens him and she's preventing him from leaving her. So he has no choice to stay. It's not funny, because male abuse is also serious and people are blaming Blueface, because yes, he is also to be blamed. But in that relationship, I think he's scared of her and he doesn't have the support system to leave. So Tamar, get you a security person. Get you a bodyguard. Girl, you need a bodyguard. That's all I have to say about this situation.